Hey, guys, this is our second video from the HTML crash course. In this video, we're going to learn about some basic HTML tags. If you don't know what tags are, please check out my previous video. I'll drop the link in the description. You can go ahead to the part you want to study. In this video, we are also going to create our first HTML document. So first, let's create a folder for our website. I am going to create a new folder on my desktop. I'm naming this folder as Geeks Crash. Open Sublime Text, or your favorite editor. Create a new file by pressing Ctrl and N. Once you see an Untitled tab, save the file by pressing Ctrl and S. Name the file as index.html. While saving the file, make sure that the extension of the file is .html. And the encoding is set to UTF-8. I'm going to write down some basic code here. On the very first line of the document goes the doctype declaration. If you don't know what doctype declaration is, please go and check out my previous video. In my previous video, I have explained the doctype declaration, head tag, title tag, and body tag. So in this video, I'm going to skip the explanation part for these tags. The new thing here is the meta tag on the fourth line. Meta elements are tags used in HTML documents to provide structured metadata about a web page. Within the meta tag, there is an attribute with name charset and a value of UTF-8. This attribute tells the browser that we want to use a specific character set. In this case, it is UTF-8. This is all about the meta tag we used here. Here I have entered Geeks Crash as the title of the document. And with this, we cover all the tags within the head tag. Now let's start with our first part. The first thing that we're going to learn is HTML headings. There are total 6 heading tags, from H1 to H6. Here I have listed all the heading tags. I'm going to add GC as the content of every heading tag. Once added, I'm going to save the file. After saving the file, I'm going to open the file in a web browser. So this is basically how the browser renders the content of the document. If you go back, you can see that the title part is being shown as the tab name right up here. Let me first get both the windows in a split view. So here you can see that HTML heading that we wrote directly into the body tag is showing up here with a basic font size and style. Let's zoom into the browser first. So these are the 6 heading tags that the browser has rendered. Among the 6 tags, H6 is the smallest and H1 is the biggest. Heading tags are really important because the search engines like Google use headings to index your web page on the internet. For instance, this is an example where the heading is used to index the web page. If you want a font bigger than H1 tag or smaller than the H6 tag, you can use CSS. Using heading tags for making text bold can confuse the search engine while indexing the web page. The next thing that we are going to learn is HTML p tag. That is the HTML paragraph element. It is nothing but opening tag and a closing tag with p enclosed in it. Let's add some content to our tag. I'm going to write Geeks Crash is a YouTube channel. Save the file and reload the web page. This is how p tag shows up in the browser. That's it. This is all that you need to know about the p tag. Now we are going to learn the HTML non-breaking spaces. Now first let's copy the p element from above and paste it down here. But this time I want more space between the word A and YouTube. Let's try doing this by adding some spaces. After adding the spaces, save the file and reload the web page. but as you can see there is no change. Now you might be wondering why. The answer is because web browsers delete extra spaces and lines. Don't worry, there is a way which can help you add extra spaces. That is non-breaking spaces. So what are non-breaking spaces? It is nothing but the ampersand followed by n, b, s, p, and a semicolon. I am going to add this 2 or 3 times more. After adding, just save the file and reload the web page. Now you can notice that there is extra space. This just indicates that our non-breaking spaces are working fine. Now think of a completely different scenario. So what if I want this part on the first line and the rest on the second line? You can do that by using non-breaking spaces, which is time-consuming. HTML has another way which can help you do this within seconds. To do this, we just have to add the line break element. First, let's copy the P element down here. As I already mentioned that we're going to add a line break between A and YouTube. To add a line break, just have to first add an opening angle bracket B, R, and closing angle bracket. Once added, save the file and reload the web page. You can see that GC is A on the first line, and YouTube channel is on the second line. The next thing that we are going to learn is HTML horizontal rules. As usual, let's copy the P element and paste it here. Now if I save the file and reload the web page, you can see that our P element is working fine. As you can see, today we learned different topics like headings, paragraph, non-breaking spaces, line break, and going to study horizontal rules. All this together on one page looks pretty congested and confusing. So what if you want to divide these topics or differentiate between the end and start of a topic? For this, we have something called horizontal rules. The horizontal rule is just a line which divides or acts as a divider. First, let's add a divider between HTML line break and HTML horizontal rules. To do this, you just have to add an opening angle bracket H, R, and a closing angle bracket. Now let's add this to all the other topics. Once added, save the file. Go back into your browser and reload the web page. You can see that now we have a line which acts as a divider between our different topics. This is pretty what the horizontal rule does. So here we end with this part. Before getting started, let's add an HR tag. The next topic we are going to learn is the HTML pre-tag. Pre-tag is nothing but preformatted text. For better understanding, I am going to use a poem for this example. I got the poem within the p tag with some format. But if I save the file and reload the web page, you can see that it's just appearing as a sentence. As I already mentioned, this is because the browser is deleting extra spaces. To get this in a format, as we entered, you have to add a huge number of non-breaking spaces and line breaks. It's time consuming. But don't be sad, there is a good guy who can get your work done in no time. And that is the pre-tag. To do this, you just have to add an opening pre-tag at the start and closing pre-tag at the end. After adding, if I save the file, reload the web page, you can see that the good guy has got your work done. This is all that you need to learn about the pre-tag. Before starting, first, let's add the HR tag. The last thing we are learning is the center tag. I'm going to use the same example. It's displaying as usual, but what if I want the text to be in the center? So for doing this, I'm going to use the center tag. To do so, you just have to add opening center tag. and closing center tag at the start and at the end respectively. Once added, save the file and reload the web page. As you can see that now the text is in the center. This is how the center tag works. This is the end of the video. Hope you found the video to be helpful. Please feel free to comment if you have any related queries. And stay tuned for more videos. Please subscribe, share and like this video. It's free.